How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. What are we talking about?
We are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, which is the Shibuya incident and the first couple episodes of Culling Game.
Yeah. So we've already done an early review.
Yeah.
We got to see the early screening. So
Yeah.
this one is going to be a full review. We're going to talk about kind of everything we saw, so it's going to have spoilers.
Yeah, and if you don't want spoilers, we'll have a link in the description to our spoiler-free early review.
Yeah, but basically, it really is just the first two episodes of season 3.
Mm-hmm. We're assuming you saw season 2.
Yeah. In which case, if you didn't, then it's weird that you'd be watching this.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think one of the big things that we came out of this with is I wish I had rewatched season 2 right before watching it.
Totally.
You're gonna be lost if you they do a quick go over of it, but I still feel like you're gonna be lost if you haven't watched it recently. Also, for Culling Game, you're gonna be very lost if you haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. They almost needed, to prep you. This is what you're going to need to do before this. Because I agree. We saw Soul Loving Reawakening, was it last year? Must have been last year.
At least last year.
Yeah, at least last year. And I thought they did a great job of going through all the major moments of Season 1 and then getting us to Season 2. But that was sort of an ABCD thing, which, could be tenuous, but also, I think is also good for people maybe that are like, oh, wait, I haven't seen the first season for, a year.
Yeah.
With this, they did this thing that was a little more, montagey, and all the fights were kind of all over the place, and then they had a few of the key moments, but they also had a lot of my favorite moments were gone.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see in IMAX, Gojo, realizing that he had, less than a second to take out all those guys and have that really epic moment. I really wanted to see more of the fights with, Toji.
Yeah.
The moment where Toji fights Megumi and, realizes that he's his son. I wanted to see that in IMAX.
Yeah, well, even ones that sort of get you closer to some of the characters that will be a big deal in Season 3.
Yeah.
Like Chosa, I needed more of learning about him,
When Choso really realized their fight, his fight with Itadori and him really realizing that they're related, they do say it, but just the way that it was constructed, it's just kind of dreamy and or like a sizzle reel or something. It wasn't storytelling.
Yeah, and I think that loses something for it, and I think it doesn't set you up as well for going into those first episodes of Season 3.
I totally agree.
That being said, I realized how much I had either forgotten or blocked out. I remembered the deaths of certain characters.
Yeah.
I completely blocked that Kugasaki died. I think my mind could not handle that they actually killed her.
Yeah, I agree, because, Nanami I really remembered because, I liked him so much. He was so funny, and also, they did, the Gus Fring thing to him, and so it was, very distinctive, so I remember that really well, but you're right, I forgot about her, and that was really tough. That's the thing, Season 2 is so vicious of Jujutsu Kaisen that I kind of feel like this was a bit of the softball approach to getting us through to Season 3, and I don't know, I didn't love that. Mappa, I think, was doing a new thing. I think they were really trying to make it interesting and different with the assumption people have already seen Season 2.
Sure.
But I didn't love it.
Well, they did put a lot of focus on something that is really important, which is Itadori really, being incredibly upset and almost unable to do anything because of what Sukuna, had the way that he took out so many people.
Yeah.
That, it wasn't Itadori, it was Sukuna, but at the same time, Itadori can't help but feel the blame of it, and that plays into things too.
For sure, yeah. He was almost catatonic, like Luffy with Ace. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I will say, the Shibuya incident is just a series of major fights, and I almost forgot that how long and how many stages the Mahito versus Itadori fight was.
Well, and it's not just with Itadori. Mahito is the one that takes out so many people. That ultimately takes out Nanami. That takes out Kugisaki. Like,
I know.
Oh, it's so rough.
It's so funny too because like I remember even at the time watching it, but it really secured watching it this time that like Mahito is so much like Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. The only difference is Mahito is how it has more fun.
Yeah.
I love that we've gotten to the point where the new big three, basically the villains are like Tetsuo from Akira. Yeah. They're basically like these all-powerful guys that become these like blobby monsters with all like hands and all kinds of other crazy things. But let's get to the actual meat. Let's get to the calling game stuff. So I'm a big fan of Yuta.
Absolutely.
Yuta was the lead of the movie they did, Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Yeah. And he is cool. He's very different than Itadori.
He doesn't really have a sense of humor.
No.
He's, also, but the crazy thing about him is that he actually has more like spirit power than Gojo.
Yeah.
Like he has the potential to be completely off the charts crazy good.
And he also has a spirit named Rika, who is basically his childhood love, and so she's always with him too. So basically he's almost invincible. He has been tasked with being the executioner for Itadori. Yeah. We get to see a pretty cool fight between the two of them in this. While at the same time, the other really kind of big, interesting thing I thought in this movie, which really was the first 2 episodes of season 3, is all this stuff going on with the Zenin clan. Yeah. So the Zenin clan, they're the ones that like Toji's from. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that Megumi is from. Maki, like a bunch of the characters are from this really important sorcerer's clan. We're now getting to spoilers. Yeah. In this episode, the head of the clan dies. Mm-hmm. And so we meet these 3 characters, which are his eldest sons, and all of them think they're going to be the next leader. Yeah. And the one, of course, who's the biggest jerk, the chauvinist character, Naoya, he believes he's a shoo-in because he's got the most power. He even said, he's like, I got the most power, I'm the prettiest. But then they find out that due to the will, that essentially, because of a deal that Gojo and Toji made, if something happens to Gojo, Megumi will be head of the clan. So Naoya is the kind of guy who's like, well, I'm going to nip this in the bud. So he goes after Megumi because he's going to kill him. Yeah. So that he can, be the leader of the clan. So I really love that we have this new bad guy that's specifically going after Megumi. Yeah. Because, I always feel like Megumi, there isn't enough going on for him yet to make him not generic for me in the show. And like we found out at the end of season 2 that like Sukuna is like really interested in him for some reason. But now that we have this, the Zenin clan essentially after him, I feel like that is going to add a lot more for his character. For sure, yeah. It's really cool. And it's nice to have him, like you said, have something more interesting about him, but to still have him and Itadori be so close together. Yeah. I also think there's interesting things going on because Itadori, because of what happened with Sukuna, taking out so many people, Itadori's like, I have to save so many people because to make up for that. So, he has to work along with the people that did survive the Shibuya incident. Oh, it's crazy. Right after the Shibuya incident, we don't know how much time has passed. It doesn't seem like that much time. But basically, like, Itadori is... I joked, but not joked, really, in our last review, is he's sort of being like Dark Deku from like the last from like a season ago of My Hero Academia, where he's basically a vigilante running around taking down these cursed spirits without being part of the sorcerer school or wherever, and he's also accompanied by Choso, and I love Choso. He is this character who's really badass. He used blood manipulation. He almost killed Itadori in season 2, but now he's not only a badass, but he also kind of acts as like comedy relief. Totally. And he's awesome. He's so funny. Well, I love that he keeps on being like, we're brothers. Yeah. And Itadori's like, we're not brothers. I know. Well, it's so good that, like, it's so funny that Itadori keeps on happening to stumble into these very powerful guys who are just in love with him and want to be his brother. Yeah. It's like, what a funny character trait, right? Yeah, for sure. Choso has a very cool fight with Naoya. Getting back into spoilers, so at this point, like, you really don't want to hear it if you don't want spoilers. Yeah. But it's also obviously revealed, as we all knew it would, that Yuta actually isn't the bad guy and is actually there to save Itadori. Well, I remember at the end of season 2 when Yuta's like, I'll be the one to take out Itadori. And the two of us are like,
No,
way.
There's no way that Gojo didn't like set something up that didn't at least tell him like, I've got these great students, like, you know, look out for them, whatever. There's no way. And so it was like, okay, how long are we going to have to wait to find out?
Yeah, because you know, Utah was such an underdog and such a hero in Zero. It's like, no way that he's going to be like, well, I guess I'll just kill this guy. It's like, no, it's never going to happen. It was revealed that he and Gojo sort of talked about something happening to Gojo. And then, basically, we set up the third season, which is Megumi comes to Utah and Itadori, and he's like, hey, listen, I need you, Itadori. There's this calling game thing that's going to start, and my sister is in the middle of it, and I need you to come be here. And then, of course, you know, Itadori's like, oh, no, I killed everybody.
Yeah.
And Megumi sort of did the whole, like, Eren and Armin, like, you know, we'll be in hell together thing. He's like, I also take responsibility for what happened in Shibuya. And so they go with this plan. Now, I will say, people are already joking about this online, and if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about, but I have never seen an anime film want to be so cryptic about the rules of an upcoming game, because it's like they're like calling game and it's like rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, and it's so fast. Like I saw today online, somebody made a joke about how you had to be a Madara Uchiha to read the because it's just so fast you can never read them.
Our whole audience was like laughing because it was so ridiculous how fast it went. And it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, well, but luckily there is the internet, and
well,
so
I went to Google, and I think they did it fast because like they're a little dry and you need more context.
Yeah.
So I think they were trying to do more of like a fun like visual thing, but it actually made it worse.
Yeah.
And so just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
You know, like it because then I felt like I was missing pertinent information when in reality I really wasn't.
Or put them all up like on one page, you know, rather than like rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, like one after the other with no time to actually read it.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
So
and and basically that's kind of where we sort of left off, is them going to find Tengen. Yeah. So I think that I didn't love the way they compressed season 2.
No.
The fights in season 3 were awesome.
Yes.
There's this moment where Itadori is doing like parkour.
That was so cool.
Jumping around and fighting these cursed things, and I really felt like, you know, there was a bit of that kind of cool third act Chainsaw Man stuff going on there, especially with the colors. That was really beautiful and very cool. I love that. I thought the fight between Choso and Naoya was freaking awesome. It looked amazing. And they did that thing that Mappa does so well, which is like they're changing it up. Like, you're just like, how are they doing this much? And you know, and it's really impressive to see that art on the big screen.
Absolutely.
Which I think is kind of the main pull for this, other than just being excited for season 3.
Yeah, but like we said, you know, if you haven't watched season 2 recently, you're gonna feel almost a little lost, or you know, it's not as much. I think it's almost not as much fun if you haven't recently watched it. But yeah, on the big screen, it is so worth it to see those first 2 episodes of season 3.
I totally agree. But anyway,
I'm super excited for the next season. I think Calling Game is gonna be great.
Awesome.
And
we might even find out the rules.
Maybe.
It's possible. You never know.
Yeah, possible.
Would it be amazing if, like, these 2 episodes are exactly the way they are, and they're just never going to say the rules? So, like, what? Didn't you read the rules?
Yeah.
You said them already.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this idea of being a battle royale, basically, against sorcerers. You know, they're finally going to get their, like, I mean, they already sort of did the Chunin exams in season 1, so this is going to be, like, the Chunin exams, like, ultra.
I mean, it does feel like, though, that, like, the bad guys are running things. You know what I mean? It's like, take out all of the best sorcerers, like...
Well, I mean, of course, the bad guys must be running things. I mean, the first thing after the Shibuya incident was, like, we're killing Gojo if he ever gets freed. We're killing...
No one's allowed to free him, or else they'll be, like, enemy of the state.
Yeah. No, it's no, totally. Yeah, there is something up going on. But we've already known that. I mean, they've already... Well, I will say, though, it's funny.
But it's more so now.
It does add a lot of context, though, is like, you know, in the first season, the leader of the group from Kyoto, he wanted to, you know, kill Itadori, and we're like, oh, what a mean dude, he's so terrible. And then you watch the Shibuya incident, and you're like, well, I gotta see where he was coming from.
I mean,
he's kind of dangerous.
Itadori, you know, we love him, you know, because he's our main character, but also he has, like, one of the worst souls inside him. Yeah. So...
And it's funny, I actually forgot that he got force-fed 5 fingers at once.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason that Sukuna came out. Like, that totally was something I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, so much I forgot about.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I still think it was really fun to watch. If it's still in theaters and you don't mind spoilers because you've already gotten some here, then you should check it out. But Jujutsu Kaisen Execution is in theaters. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Anna, what's a good question?
What anime that hasn't done one of these, first 2 episodes of the next season in theaters would you like to do it?
That's a good one. That's a good one. You know what they should do? They should do compressed Dragon Ball sagas. Like, I would watch, like, the Cell Saga as, like, a 3-hour movie in IMAX. I kid you not. That would slap. That would be so good.
Yeah. I mean, you already compress it just by taking out, like, the 3 hours of power up.
That's true. That's very fair. It's very fair. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.